brand block. Even as we begin, Director to come forward and welcome the gathering, and especially our chief guest for this morning, Mr. A. Shanmugasundaram, the District Collector.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the faculty, staff, and students of Christian Medical College, Vellore, I'm very happy to welcome each and everyone for the inauguration of the Paul Brand Block. We are in unprecedented times, and we are truly grateful to God that we are able to fulfill the vision of our founder and of the institution to be able to give Dr. Scudder to the first graduating batch of medical students in 1922 is so relevant today. She said then, nearly 100 years ago, presence. It was he who had the foresight to give us special permission for the renovation work to continue during the lockdown. I think he somehow knew this will be needed, and so allowed us to went through an online platform. The work of all our staff in alumnus and friends from India and across the globe during these difficult times, they have stood with the institution. We thank our alumni, friends and donors who contributed towards COVID work. We have been able to continue our charitable work even during COVID, which has been at an all-time high of 20% despite marked reduction in income. And we are thankful to all our friends who pitched in CMC. As you can see, they have done an amazing job of converting an old hostel, more than 50 years old, to this wonderful. Once again, a very warm welcome to each and every one of you. Thank you.
And next we have with us
respected chief guest, Mr. Shanmugasundaram, Dr. Peter, Dr. Prasad, and Reverend Arlidas, and all my colleagues here in the audience. I'm happy to stand here before you. In Kagidapatrai, there was a lot of discussion as to what this should become. And finally, it was decided to convert this into an inpatient surgical block. And that's what it eventually has become. But as was mentioned, it has come to us as a boon, I think, at the right time. And a lot of credit for that should go to the support that we have received from both the state government and from the district authorities led ably by our collector. And we thank you, sir, for this.
Before beginning the speech, I just want to mention a quote from Bible. I like it very much. Ecclesiastes says, "He has made everything beautiful in its time." So there has been my WhatsApp status in my personal WhatsApp message. That has been the status for years together. And this is a very august occasion, and I personally thank the director, Dr. J. Peter, Dr. Prasad Matthews, the medical superintendent of CMC, and the chaplain Reverend Dr. Arlidas, associate directors, and other administrators. I have immense pleasure in being part of this historic event that makes an important milestone in the history of this prestigious institution, CMC Vellore. CMC Vellore is an institution with a reputation, world-class reputation, which gives medical care to the needy and the downtrodden people at an affordable cost, and sometimes free of cost. Your unique both end philosophy of caring both rich and poor has been a model that needs to be emulated by all the medical institutions, and for that matter all the institutions in India, which is the need of the hour. I have been closely observing the tremendous dedication and tireless efforts by your medical and nursing fraternity in alleviating the pain and the misery of the people, not only from Vellore, but from all over India and from many parts of the world. I have personally witnessed the remarkable work done by CMC Vellore in rendering the services to the sick and the suffering during this pandemic for more than a year now. The district administration takes pride in the fact that we are the third largest vaccinated population amongst all the districts in Tamil Nadu. But this achievement could not have been possible unless otherwise we have CMC on our hand in our district. Because of the all-round efforts as well as the kind of IEC given by CMC as well as the inputs given by the CMC, the vaccination has been a very successful in our district. And this would not have been possible without the active cooperation of CMC Vellore. I have no hesitation in stating that I have been telling this several times on several occasions and several platforms that the CMC is a pride of Vellore. So it is the biggest strength for the district administration. If you do this SWOT analysis, strength, weakness, opportunities and threats, CMC stands in the first strength. So it is the biggest strength not only for the district but also for the state, and for the matter it is also a very good strength for our country also, especially ICMR. So the hospital has a rich heritage, and it is known for its pioneering work in the field of medicine. CMC Vellore was the first in the world to perform the corrective surgery on patients with leprosy. The CMC doctors have performed the first open heart surgery 60 years before. The first successful renal transplantation was done almost 50 years ago, exactly 50 years ago, and the first bone marrow transplant was also done in the country for the first time. And I started the first rehabilitation institute in India way back in 1966. These are only few examples, but if we want to enlist the achievements done by CMC, then it will be running into pages. In continuation with such commendable service rendered over the past 120 years, it is heartening to know that the vision of the CMC founder, Dr. Sophia Scudder, to develop a healing communities has not diminished. I want to appreciate the present administration for their commitment to extend and expand its expertise and the service to humanity by creating this state-of-the-art facility for orthopedic care. This is just another feather in your cap. I am sure that this facility will cater to the needs of the thousands of individuals who seek our care and service. I am happy to know that the building has been rightly named after the famous orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Paul Brand. I wish you good success as you begin your services in this new facility, which would initially be COVID related. I want to once again record my sincere thanks and appreciations to the district administration, to the CMC administration, for inviting me to be part of this memorable occasion. And I personally want to thank the CMC at this point because of the projections given by the CMC. Director used to give the COVID projections then and there. So we used to get the periodical projections from the CMC administration, and it was very helpful for us in doing the policy framework as well as in creating the operational infrastructure facilities for treating the COVID patients. When we were having only 30 plus cases way back in June 2020, CMC predicted that in the next one month we are going to have 7,600 plus cases. So that was a lightning message for us, and we started working on that, and we could able to create almost 4,000 plus beds. The majority of them as COVID care centers, and we have increased the number of oxygen supply because we highlighted this CMC forecast in the collectors forum. So it has become a tool, handy tool in the hands of the government also to plan accordingly. And the recent projections given by CMC I have highlighted to the level of Chief Secretary, Health Secretary also. And they have been interacting, I think they might be interacting with the CMC administration also. So this gives insight to us on how to go about and how to tackle the disease. In the policy making, it helps a lot. So personally, thank CMC Vellore for all his endeavors. Thank you.
So are a strong believer of the fact that he makes all things beautiful in his time. Well, now to say thank you for all that has happened and all that is happening, may I request our Associate Director, Admin, Dr. Vikram Matthews, to come forward and say the vote of thanks.
Chief Guest, Sundaram, Director, Consultant, Reverend Arul Das, members on the stage and off the stage, and in today's world we have to say in the virtual platform as well, the Chairman, Vice Chairman, and all who are attending. I have the privilege to say the vote of thanks. There's a lot of people to thank, and it may not be possible to truly name every one of them. So in this context, I want to start by thanking God. In these truly difficult times, He has provided us with abundance, both in terms of infrastructure, material, and personnel. I'd like to start by reading 1 Corinthians 12, chapter 4, verses 4 onwards. There are different kinds of gifts, but the same Spirit distributes them. There are different kinds of services, but the same Lord. There are different kinds of working, but in all of them, and in every one, it is the same God at work. I'd also like to paraphrase the rest of the chapter by saying that it goes on to say that we are all one body working for one common good. And no one can say one is better than the other. And the least of all of us contributes equally to the success of what we want to do. The eye cannot say to the hand, I don't need you, and the head cannot say to the feet, I don't need you. On the contrary, those parts of the body that seem to be weaker are indispensable, and the parts that we think are less vulnerable we treat with special honor. I say this with particular relevance over here because there are lots of people who work quietly in the background and make these things possible. And during this vote of thanks, it will be impossible for me to address every one of them. But please remember that each one of you are valued. And I'd like to say that in the words of Mother Teresa, it's something I quote often, I can do things you cannot, and you can do things I cannot. Together we can do great things. I would extend to say that together there is nothing that we cannot do. And that, I think, is what CMC would like to stand for. I'd like to thank the collector and the local administration for all that he has done to help and facilitate this. The administrations of CMC, to the director who has taken a lot of personal interest and I know has spent so much of time and effort and energy in making this possible. Members of the administrative office who put a lot of time and effort into this. The members of the executive committee and council and the building committees, again, who have put in a lot of time. A very big and special thanks to Dr. Mark Ranjan, who from the administrative side, who has truly put in, the amount of time and energy he has put into this to bring this all together. At times it must have been very frustrating. Thank you, Mark. Also want to thank Dr. Deepak Selvaraj Maran and his team for working on various approvals which have been challenging at times. To the engineering team, we already talked about the modular concepts, Mr. Manoj and his team, Syed, Praveen, Sajay and Amin on the ground. The project management consultant, Shalom Consultancy, who have done an excellent coordination. Special thank you to Mr. Shalom David, who led this. Mr. Prince Capstan for HVAC Consultancy, Mr. Jayaraman for Civil Consultancy, Mr. Alex for Structural Consultancy, and not to forget each and every single person who has worked on this site. The GS office, Mr. David and his team, and a special thank you, Mr. Anand Samuel, a big thank you to you, who has led the entire engineering team, putting everybody together. The engineering team, the planning, civil, electrical, AC, mechanical, fire, communications and chips and environment. It's not possible to name each one of these, but they have all worked very hard. The end users, the orthopedicians, anesthetists, nurses, radiology and pharmacy for the immense amount of time and energy they put to give inputs to make this building nothing short of perfect. The nursing service and the MS office, a big thank you. I must say that what we have that most institutions don't have and envy is our nursing service. I really want to thank the nursing service for all the efforts they put to give that personal touch into many of these buildings. May God help us use this resource in the spirit of our motto, not to be served but to serve. Thank you and God bless.
To bring this occasion to a close, shall we all stand for the national anthem?
Thanks for watching. Subscribe our channel, press bell button for update videos, like and comment our videos.